This man's name is Michael Atkinson. He is an adventurer, a filmmaker, and once served as a military pilot. A significant part of his life was spent in the Australian Defence Force, where he didn't just fly aircraft. Instead, he learned the art of survival, skills that go far beyond basic training. Over time, he also passed these same skills on to others, especially those who work daily in high-risk environments, where survival can be a matter of life and death. But there comes a time when learning or teaching alone is no longer enough. At that point, a person begins to wonder where their true limits lie and feels the urge to test them firsthand. Michael reached that moment as well. He decided that he would build a small boat, entirely by hand, from the thick trunk of a massive tree. Not only would he build it, but he would also take that boat on a solo journey of 1,500 kilometers along Australia's Great Barrier Reef. It may sound crazy at first, but in reality, it is even more challenging than it seems. This is not a modern boat with advanced technology. It is a dugout canoe, made entirely from a single tree trunk. For thousands of years, different cultures around the world have used this method. Back then, there were no machines or modern tools, only human hands and endless patience. Although the process of making such a boat may look simple, in truth, it is an extremely precise and delicate task that requires skill, focus, and deep understanding. To create a dugout canoe, the inner wood of the tree is slowly removed, while the outer layer is carefully preserved. This outer shell becomes the main body of the boat, the very structure that allows it to float on water. And this is where the greatest risk lies. If too much wood is removed, the structure becomes weak. If too little is removed, the boat becomes too heavy and may not float properly. That means every strike, every cut, and every decision carries life or death importance. The greatest strength of a dugout canoe lies in its simplicity. It has no separate parts and no joints. It is carved from a single piece of wood, making it incredibly strong, durable, and long-lasting. Throughout history, these types of boats have been used for transportation, fishing, and even warfare. However, one thing has always varied: the design. People from different regions built their boats according to their environment. Some faced rough oceans, others navigated fast rivers, and some used them in calm waters. As a result, the shape, weight, and structure of each boat differed depending on where it was used. Michael chose a very special type of wood for his project, a Norfolk pine log weighing nearly 4 tons. This tree is found on Norfolk Island in the South Pacific. One of its key features is that it grows straight and tall, with a relatively lighter interior. This wood also has another important quality. It floats very well in water, reducing the risk of sinking. That is why it is considered ideal for boat making.
However, simply hollowing out the wood is not enough. The boat must also be made durable and strong. In ancient times, craftsmen used tools like axes and chisels, and even fire. Yes, fire was used as part of the process. The inner part of the wood was burned slightly and then scraped away gradually. While this may sound complicated, it is actually a very precise technique. Fire softens the wood, making it easier to remove the inner layers. But even a small mistake can destroy the entire structure. The boat must also be completely waterproof. This is where the intelligence of ancient indigenous people becomes evident. They collected natural substances like resin, gum, and pitch from trees. These materials are sticky and naturally waterproof. They use these substances to seal cracks, gaps, and hollowed areas of the boat. The result was a smooth, water-resistant surface where no water could seep through. This not only prevented leakage, but also protected the wood from rotting, allowing the boat to last for many years. However, Michael's project is not just about building a boat. Behind it lies a historical story, a real-life survival story of a man named James Morrill, a shipwreck survivor who drifted for 42 days on a raft near the Great Barrier Reef.
After being rescued, James Morrill's story became a powerful example of survival. Michael wanted to place himself in a similar situation, to experience that same level of challenge and uncertainty. This desire pushed him to begin the entire project. For 14 months, he used tools similar to those used by Morrill. He wasn't just building a boat, he was recreating an experience. His boat featured a double outrigger design, combining traditional methods with modern Western techniques. But these boats are more than just a means of transportation. They represent culture. They are connected to ceremonies like weddings, initiations, funerals, and offerings to ancestors. Often, special symbols and carvings are added to them, representing history passed down from generation to generation. These boats are not just objects, they are a connection between the past and the present. The knowledge, craftsmanship, and stories behind them are taught by elders to the younger generation to ensure that this tradition is never lost. Even today, efforts are being made to preserve these ancient techniques because these stories are not just exciting, they are living records of history. They tell the stories of people who crossed oceans, explored the unknown, and achieved the impossible. And Michael wanted to become a part of that story, from a single tree trunk to a complete journey. His dream slowly transformed into reality.